looking out there in YouTube land, Canna family? It is your host Dustin with two buds in a jar, and today we got a topic: elitist growers. What we mean by this and more coming up next. Now, on the topic of elitist growers, and what I mean by that is you have your people that just swear the way they do things is just the way to do things. And let's break it down as to why that's just not reality, shall we? Number one, we're going to start with budget. Not everybody is working with the same budget. Some people can afford only Mars Hydro, some people only Timu equipment, some people AC Infinity, some people Gorilla Grow tent. Some people are sponsored, some people are not doing YouTube and sponsored, and it comes out of pocket. And that happens to be like me and Harry, for instance. So, not everybody has the same budget to invest, and some people just want cannabis and really don't want to put that money in for the equipment, which you're going to soon learn that yes, you will eventually have to pay for good, proper equipment to have nice, proper cannabis. So, not everybody's working with the same type of budget or bank account because, I'm sure everybody would be growing out of AC Infinity and Gorilla Grow Tent if that was the case, because those are very expensive, high priced tents. So that's just one aspect getting into it. Not everybody can afford the equipment, the pH pens, the nutrients, and everything that it takes cohesively to make cannabis. Now, secondly, you never know how people have their, grow set up or how they have to run their equipment. Like me, for instance, I have an extra fan blowing real rough over my canopy just due to the fact that my LED is hot. And I can only turn it on its second notch out of 10 on my dial, if that gives you an idea of how powerful that grow light is. At full max capacity, it is overbearing, so I do keep it down. So just using that for an example, Harry Cola for an example also has a 3 by 2 by 2 tent that he wanted to experiment and see if he could grow cannabis in. And some people, he knows that that's not the right tent and all this stuff, but he likes a challenge and he does like doing experiments and pushing cannabis to the limits. So some things he tries in, some things he fails in, but he mostly succeeds. We've seen that with the Gorilla cookies. So you never know what people are doing, whether they're doing experiments, for instance, like Harry Cola, or whether they're just growing normal from grow to grow, like I do, for instance, and showing you guys maybe a technique. So you got to really understand how somebody's grow room is going and running together and why these pieces and parts are there and what they're there for. So if this extra fan's there to cool off the light, if this extra humidifier's there because it's too hot here or too humid rather, or this extra air conditioner's in here because this tent's really hot and this room's really hot and cold. So you got to kind of understand how people are assembling their grows, what their weather conditions are in the area they live, and why they use their equipment ultimately the way they do in their grow. Now, Canna family, another thing into consideration is that a lot of people that's been growing either for some time or have developed a formula for several months now go with that formula, which means you used all your equipment, your room, and everything to your advantage, and you got a certain way you do each cultivar, each grow. You have it planned, you have nutrients, you have a certain way you feed it, certain sugars you may add, or certain amounts of CO2. And you can't really tell somebody because what works for one person simply won't work for another. That's why we all have different tastes as human beings in things. So I would just personally let it be because each person over time has developed their own formula. Now, whether it's right or you wouldn't do it or you would is not the question here, but the question that matter is for humanity to connect back with Mother Nature, and that's what you do through growing cannabis. And sometimes you'll come across growers that swear they know everything, but let me tell you, I've been doing this for 2 decades now, and I'm still learning things. And some of those things I teach and pass on and show you guys and break it down and make it simple because where I've seen every other video overcomplicates things and it can be quite overwhelming. there are some scientific aspects to some of the teachings but and some of the properties within our videos. However, we still learn. I know a lot more. Harry Cole is kind of just beginning and he likes to experiment with plants. So those are kind of some examples of, growers. Me, I know a lot. I'm in an intermediate to advanced grower and I'm still learning things, and I'm still mastering some techniques as well. So there's no way anybody just knows all and knows everything. They may have developed a formula that works good in their garden. However, you still need to open your mind for newer things and things that may improve your garden overall. Understand, even if you're beginner, intermediate, or an advanced grower, mistakes will happen. You can have times, sometimes you're tired and you're in your garden. You may have broke a branch moving past a plant. You may have accidentally cut a branch off instead of a leaf. You might have accidentally read nutrients and gave him tablespoons instead of teaspoons. And you may have been doing this for years. And you get really super down on yourself. I totally get it. It's a mistake that shouldn't have been made in the garden. But understand, you're human and mistakes happen. We are not Mother Nature ourselves, but we can only perfect ourselves in time to really master and hone in on our gardening skills. And the next type of people, and last and finally on this list of elitist growers and how to tell if you're amongst one, is that they are equipment elitist. They will swear by a certain equipment. I get it if you particularly like a certain kind of equipment, but again, not everybody's budget or not everybody's method of grow requires maybe that particular. Maybe they don't want an artificially controlled environment like AC Infinity provides. Maybe they want to be more hands on with some Vivo Sun. Even though all these tent companies now have something essentially like AC Infinity because they all copied. Actually, AC Infinity was the first company to really mark this artificial device before other companies started slapping panels outside of their tent. And so that is why, as long as you have the most proper equipment, and everything that you need as far as a tent, lights, intake, outtake, heating, cooling, humidifier, genetics, and things you need to grow properly ultimately, you'll be fine and well on your way to harvesting some beautiful buds. It all depends. Some equipment is a lot better than others, yes. However, do you need this specific equipment in order to grow great weed as long as you know what you're doing? No, you do not. And these are the people that'll swear by it. Now, me personally, like I've said, I love AC Infinity. And I mean, yeah, I do swear about it, but I don't tell people, this is what you're doing wrong. You should have AC Infinity equipment, yada, yada, so on and so forth. So ultimately, just don't be a equipment elitist is what I like to call them. That any type of tent. So obviously on Two Buds in Our Char, our favorite equipment is AC Infinity. So with that being said, I'm not an elitist about it. I do love the company, but I've seen beautiful crops grown with like Mars Hydro, Vivo Sun, Gorilla Grow tents. I've seen some. Cali Grow tents used to be my old grow tent. So you don't need the top of the line equipment. You just need the equipment that you need in order to cultivate cannabis ultimately. So, don't let somebody persuade you like pretty much otherwise. As long as you have a grow setup, what you're going to do, all, formulated in your head, I would say go for it. Don't let anybody persuade you otherwise necessarily. And, do what works for you, not because it's a brand new piece of equipment and you think it'll help you grow your cannabis. What will help you grow your cannabis better is mostly hands on experience and knowledge. The more you learn and the more hands on experience you have between those things, that's how you master cannabis cultivation. So, the newest dehumidifier, the newest air conditioner that's out by whatever company is not going to help you ultimately achieve those buds. It may help you grow, yes, but essentially only through hands on experience and through just growing for multiple years. and researching a lot of stuff you should know about plants and, cannabis plants specifically, obviously. It'll help you. So, with that being said, there's no equipment that's going to help you and none that's going to really further better. But there are applications of certain products you can put into your garden. It'll help you. But if you have your garden set up the way it works for you and that's what works for you, then you don't need these other necessities or products. And that concludes this episode of What Mats My Dreads, Canna Family. I know everybody at one point has met somebody like this, and the best thing to do is just research, like I said, and hands-on experience. Those two things will lead to, eventually, if you want to master cannabis cultivation, you'll be able to do it. Hands down, that's what I've done for 2 decades now, and I'm still doing it and going strong. So with that being said, Canna Family, much love. Thank you guys out there for watching, and I'm your host, Dustin, from Two Buds in a Jar. I'm burning out. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, got my neck and wrist frosty. All day, all night too. Need a beat to write to. Knock 'em out like Mike do. MVP like Michael. Money stacking, it's loaded up. Parks looking all swollen up. New Lambo, I'm rolling up. No stopping, no slowing up. I went hard, that cash came. Got a new big ass chain. Take what I want, no ass game. Live it up in that fast lane. Do this shit for my people. Get that money, all we know. Money never finito. Keep on boosting my ego. Steph Curry with the free throw. When I turn my swag on, this shit should be illegal. Stepping out the whip, I'm looking sharper than the needle. And all them bitches on me keep on swelling up my ego. I spit fire in the boot when I'm higher than Mariah off that goose. Punchlines hitting hard and chipping toots. Baseline kicking harder than some steel toe boots. Stacking bitches in the backseat of the 4-door coupe. You know them haters who mean shit to me. You gotta be kidding me. Ain't nobody stopping me from securing this victory. And I ain't stopping till the shit I'm dropping making history. And every time they talking about somebody got my neck and wrist frosty. Don't know what it cost me. I've been on the grind, nigga, get these haters off me. I've been on the grind, why niggas so saucy. I've been on the grind, why niggas so bossy. Neck and wrist frosty. Don't know what it cost me. I've been on the grind, nigga, get these haters off me.
But until then, guys, I'm your host from Dustin. Shit the bed.